Violent crime is rising, and you need to train to be your own bodyguard, your own first responder. And these short self-defense stick strikes could save your life. I want to show you some basic strikes, how to use an 18-inch. This is known as the Okinawan or Japanese Tanbo. It's just a short stick. It's 18 inches. It's about the length of your finger to your elbow, a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, depending on what you want. But you can get a stick from the Home Depot or Lowe's or a do-it-yourself store, a dowel rod, cut it in half, and you have a short self-defense stick that you could use to defend yourself from multiple attackers, from a bigger opponent, from somebody with a bladed weapon. And these short self-defense strikes could save your life. I'm going to start with the first, which is simply a thrusting motion with the hands up between you and the threat and stepping forward or backward. Either way, as long as you have one foot in front of the other, so you're a smaller target, you're a big wide target, all of your vital spots are exposed when you stand this way. So you're going to step back, or I like to step in and actually close the distance. When you have to defend yourself, now if you can run, hide, get out of there, but when you have to fight, step in, close the distance, and you're going to start with a thrusting motion. This thrusting motion is done by extending the arm and turning the shoulders and hips. And you'll see when you strike this bag that you're going to increase the power with each one of these three steps. One is extension. Two is rotation through the shoulders and hips. Three is going to be accelerating the strike by taking a step with your front foot. As you come forward, you put the whole weight of your body behind the strike, and you're hitting with this tip right there. Hello, everybody. Your hands are up. You're between you and the threat. You've made yourself a smaller target. The first of these self-defense strikes, the short stick that could save your life, is a simple thrusting motion. The second one, coming in next to your shoulder and striking, and at the same time, you're going to see that your hand is going to flick down. So you're coming down with the strike using your arm, turning your shoulders and hips, but you're also going to open your hand a little bit. Don't take your fingers off, just open it and then close it. That adds a little bit of a flicking motion so that when you strike, you're going to hit with a lot more power. So the first is a thrust, the second is this angular strike coming off the same shoulder that you're holding the stick on. This is your right hand, you're coming off the right. Now coming from the left, I want you to turn your wrist this way, this twisting, fast, explosive and disruptive motion coming to the side of his face. So you have a thrust, you have this snapping strike, you have this twisting, fast, explosive strike coming to the other side of his body. Now I want to show you something new today using your short self-defense stick, and that is opening your hand and changing the position. So when you're here, you have the length of the stick coming out of your thumb. You still have a little bit here. That's so you can strike down on top of his head for self-defense, or into his jaw, or into his temple, into his eyeball for self-defense, coming down into his throat with a lot of force using this part. And this part allows you to do those thrusting motions. You can even swing with a straight arm coming from the side. Now I want you to see that you're going to soften your grip and allow it to slide down. You've got to practice this. Let it slide down, slide up. Just don't drop it. Your whole goal is to get comfortable with the stick sliding through your hand, down and up, changing the position. Almost let it go right there. Hello, Doug, it's good to see you. Now from here, you have the long side coming out of the bottom. Bringing this in and straight down, using it like a screwdriver, an ice pick coming in, creating a lot of leverage here, coming for this strike across your body. From here, coming out, you can turn your palm up, twisting your body. The power of all of these strikes comes from turning the shoulders and the hips, extending the arm, and accelerating the strike by stepping with your body. So coming in here or coming in here. So from this position, you also can use this. You have a little bit at the top, bringing that into his body, bringing it around into his ribs, up into his ear. But then using this part here, this can almost be a blocking motion. Somebody's striking you or has a bladed weapon, you can now block with the side of your body, blocking up, blocking down, blocking to one side, or turning and blocking down back to the other side. This is the purpose of having it in this position. to create leverage in these overhand strikes or reverse hand strikes, and also to block. You can also bring this through and strike across the other side of the face. So you can strike using the long part here. So I want you to practice from this position, sliding it down to this position. Practice an upper block, using your other hand to support as you push in and allowing them to strike this and not your flesh. So if you have to block, now I prefer that you hit him before he hits you, if at all possible. But if you can't, you're gonna get the other hand in there, block here, and then you can thrust. You can bring this down over top, you can bring this here, you can even drive the other elbow and bring this in to the side of his body. So from this position, so let it slide down. Here's an upper block. A lower block is the same thing. Imagine that he's coming in with a strike to your body. He's kicking or swinging something at you. You can push out here, allowing this, and then you'll move with it a little bit, allowing this to absorb the impact, this hard piece of oak or hickory, whichever one you made. Now I put a link below if you want one of the ones that I make them out of oak. I've been looking for hickory in an inch and a quarter. As soon as I get an inch and a quarter, I'm gonna make a whole bunch of these out of hickory for those of us with bigger, thicker hands. But this is perfect for any size hand to start. So you have an upward block and you have a downward block pushing out and to the side, bringing it across the body in a shielding motion and then catching your hand and then bringing it to the other side and catching your hand is how you're gonna block the sides. Anything coming straight in, you're gonna block up. Anything coming to the lower part of your body, you're gonna block down in a shielding motion, turning this way. If there's swinging in this way, you can turn into it and you can turn out. Only if you practice. This only works if you practice. These are a little bit more advanced techniques than just simple strikes. Now I like to focus on thrust, twisting the strike, twisting the hand here, swinging up and coming in, and turning your whole body and coming around. Notice that your other hand is always up. Yeah, Garen says 1 1/8 inch would be an excellent, yeah, absolutely. 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/8 is gonna be a really good option because it's gonna be a little bit thicker. If it's hickory, it's gonna be a lot heavier, and I'm gonna oil them up really well. These are really well oiled, which makes them extremely strong and a little bit heavier, so they hit a lot harder. Now, if you like learning how to defend yourself, please give me a thumbs up because that allows me to put more of these videos here on this channel for our global virtual dojo. And if you're on Rumble, go find me on Rumble. I'm starting to put more stuff on Rumble just because it makes sense to go over to Rumble and have an alternative. If you've been watching anything, you've realized that there's a lot of censorship on some of the platforms. And I try not to get in politics or anything, but I just want to be able to constantly work together. And if this platform goes away, then we'll be over there on Rumble making these videos too. So you're going forward. Yeah, Garen asked if I'm going to do some lives on Rumble. I am going to do lives on Rumble, and the lives that I do on Rumble will be just a little bit different, and you might guess how that might be, but I won't mention it here. So from this position, practice thrust, coming off of the side, and again, open the hand and practice that snapping motion, bringing it from this side, twisting, other hand is always up, bringing this motion, sliding up this way, swing it around this way, and bring this short piece down over the top. Think about digging it in to his clavicle or digging it into the top part of his chest or into his chin, into his nose for self-defense. This is just a simple strike. Bringing it from the other side, striking again into the temple, into the jaw, into the neck, into the arms, the body, the ribs for self-defense. He can be behind you. You can strike this straight down, twisting and turning and hitting with force, knocking him off, and then practice sliding your hand down. From this position, strike first, strike, practice these basic strikes, and then high block. Notice that it covers your whole body, going up. Again, anything that's coming straight at your face, like a punch, a choke, poking your eyes, maybe he's got a knife, you're going to lift this in there, and that will lift his ribs, that'll expose his arm, and then you can bring that strike in, all from this position. From here, putting your hand here, and pushing to block the body. Push to one side, push back to the other side. Those are 4 basic blocks that you can do with this short self-defense stick that could save your life. if you practice. These are not basic techniques, they're a little bit more advanced, more intermediate, would say. But it just starts like this, and you slide it down. This is just good practice. Slide it down, slide it up, and then always practice both hands. You should be able to defend yourself in your right hand or your left hand evenly. And the only way you're gonna do that is to put the timer on and make sure you're getting both sides evenly. And then when you drop it, pick it up, keep practicing. But practice pushing up, oh, have the wrong spot, push up, push down, one side and the other side. And if you want me to send you one of these that I make, it's the first link below. You guys have been awesome. I will see you the next time we make one of these. I think is gonna be tomorrow. I try to make these when I have time, and right now, there's like, my window of opportunity keeps shrinking and shrinking, but I'm trying to open it back up. I'm thinking about trying to do it in a little bit different, like a little bit later at night. And put that in the comment section below. If you like to do these live training with me, when do you like to do it? Also, in addition to Rumble, I have this set up, and this is set up so we can do Zoom training and Facebook live training. So if you're on Facebook and you follow me on Facebook, send me an email if you want to do the live training. I'm going to do 30-minute classes to start. We're going to cover all the basic weapons and then unarmed self-defense, hand-to-hand combat. Be your own bodyguard, be your own personal protection detail. How to defend yourself using that. And then later we'll go into some other things, how to do other stuff. But I'd love to see you in person, and then as we're training together, if I can give you some feedback that's helpful, you can give me some feedback that's helpful. We can do that while we're live and do that in a small group. So I'm gonna do small group trainings virtually from people around the world. I already have a lot of people who've reached out to me. If you wanna do that, send me an email, pasquinelli@hotmail.com, or put it in the comment section and I'll reach out to you, let you know how to reach me, and I would love to do that. Yeah, and I can show you, we can do a whole Indian club. I do Indian club almost every day. Indian club swinging exercises for the shoulders, for the joints, for the grip. I'd like to show you how to do that. I started with sticks. I made my own Indian clubs to start with. I literally cut a broom in half and then taped some water bottles around the tops of those little kid water bottles, and then filled them up with sand. And then I had the perfect size. And you just duct tape that thing on. You can make your own. It's just a levered weight. That's all that is. An Indian club swinging is gonna make you much better at defending yourself with your short stick for self-defense. You guys have been awesome. I'll see you in just a little bit. I have to go teach.